Hi guys, Canada reality video. So is Canada worth coming to in 2024? Are there jobs in Canada? Is it easy to settle in Canada? Is it easy to buy a house in Canada? Is it easy for new immigrants to start life afresh in Canada? This is what today's video is about, and I'm going to tell all this with respect to my personal experience, as I have been a new immigrant in Canada and have completed just my first year here. Meaning, I came in February 2023 and it's now March 2024. So, I'm going to tell you whether Canada is worth coming to or not with respect to all these factors. But before we begin the video or delve deep into the conversation, I request you to give this video a thumbs up. That helps show the algorithm that people engaged with the video, and this video is worth showing more people to. So that will be a little help for me. Having said this, please subscribe to this channel as well. Now, coming to the discussion if Canada is worth coming to or not. So, the first thing that new immigrants want to look at when they land in Canada is getting a suitable accommodation for yourself, because I think that is the most important decision any new immigrant family is going to make once they reach Canada, because your rent makes the biggest chunk of your monthly expenses as a new immigrant in a family in Canada. And if you go wrong with making this one single decision, you can waste anywhere from $500 to $700 per month after this, because it's not something that you would be switching every other month. Generally, when you get an accommodation, you get the lease signed for a year. So if you want to move out of that property before completing that year, there could be liabilities on you based on the way your contract is drafted or whatever its conditions are. But generally, keep in mind, whenever new immigrants come to Canada, the lease contract that is signed between the landlord and the new immigrants, that is for 1 year. Now, you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you end up spending anywhere from $500 to $700 more per month for that whole year than you could have gotten away with. So that's why my number one advice to you is that if you are a new immigrant family coming to Canada, starting a fresh here, go for basements, because they are the cheapest option for you to start your life here in Canada in terms of accommodation. Had there been anything cheaper than a basement, I would have straight away told you about that. But yes, basement is what sets the benchmark. You can't generally find anything cheaper than a basement here. And it also matters where you are coming to in Canada, which city, which province you are landing in, because the cost of living and accordingly the rents, even of the basements, vary from province to province, and there's a lot of fluctuation. Generally, the British Columbia is very expensive, Vaughan is very expensive. So GTA area, Toronto, that comes almost in the middle but slightly above the middle in terms of cost of living. And then slightly cheaper would be Calgary, and then the cheapest might be Edmonton and Saskatchewan area, based on the population in these areas and how cold they are, because these are the two driving factors that control people's decision where they want to land in Canada. And you should give it a very deep thought where you want to land in Canada, because it's not easy to switch provinces. Well, if you are coming as an immigrant under the federal skilled workers program, the whole Canada is open for you. I'm talking in terms of making the arrangements, doing the labor to shift from one place to another, and bearing the cost of all that. So make an informed decision before you arrive in Canada. I'd suggest coming to GTA area is a safe option because I myself came to Ontario, not particularly in Toronto, but in its nearby areas. And for me, things have worked out pretty nicely. I've seen people go through a lot of struggle and problems in Canada during their first year or the initial months, but my journey has been smooth in terms of getting jobs and managing my expenses. So in this GTA area, I found this one bed basement for $1,800 that includes all the expenses, meaning the utilities and everything. I just have to pay $1,800 total, and all expenses are borne by the landlord, including the utilities and maintenance and whatnot. Today, you could also find one bed basements for the same price. I actually got this basement at a slightly higher price than it should have priced at. What it should have priced at. I don't think the time I landed in Canada, that was in February 2023, this basement rent should have been more than 1,600. Honestly, whoever asked me and came to know that I was paying 1,800 for this basement was telling me that I was getting slightly ripped off. But considering that there's not just one bed, but there's also an additional space that is a corridor and a kind of bedroom, can be used as a bedroom but is not technically a bedroom, so we have access to that as well. We've stored our luggage bags and extra things, so you could technically say it's a two bed basement.